If you isolate a newborn baby without any human contact, what language will they speak? Language deprivation experiments, also known as forbidden experiments, were conducted to uncover the fundamental nature of human language and communication by isolating infants from typical linguistic environments. These experiments sought to answer questions about whether language is innate or learned, and if a universal, natural language exists. One of the earliest documented experiments dates back to the 7th century BCE, when Egyptian pharaoh Psammetichus I isolated two infants with a mute shepherd to determine which language they would spontaneously speak. According to Herodotus, the children uttered the Phrygian word for bread, leading the pharaoh to conclude that Phrygian was the original human language. In the 13th century CE, Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II reportedly conducted a similar experiment, isolating infants from human interaction to see if they would develop a natural language. However, the experiment was deemed a failure, as the children reportedly died due to the lack of human contact and emotional nurturing. Another notable, though disputed case of language deprivation involves Caspar Hauser, a 17th century German youth who claimed to have been raised in isolation with minimal human contact. While Hauser did learn to speak and communicate after his discovery, the veracity of his claims and the extent of his isolation remain uncertain. In the 20th century, American linguist Roger Shattuck referred to language deprivation experiments as the forbidden experiment, due to their inherent ethical concerns. Isolating infants from language and social interaction deprives them of crucial developmental experiences and can have severe negative consequences for their cognitive and emotional well-being. Despite their ethical implications, language deprivation experiments have contributed to our understanding of critical periods in language acquisition. Cases like Caspar Hauser and feral children, who experienced limited language exposure in their early years, highlight the importance of early language input for normal language development. Current research on language acquisition focuses on studying children growing up in typical environments, using ethical methods such as observational studies and experiments involving controlled language input. These studies have shed light on the complex interplay between innate language abilities and environmental factors in shaping language development. Within the womb, a fetus's auditory system develops rapidly, allowing them to hear sounds from around 18 weeks of gestation. By the third trimester, they can distinguish their mother's voice and the rhythms of their native language. While they do not understand words yet, this prenatal exposure to language lays the groundwork for language acquisition after birth. Babies become familiar with the sounds, patterns, and melody of their native tongue, setting the stage for their ability to discriminate between different languages and acquire language skills later on. This early exposure lays the foundation for their future language skills. After birth, newborns are attuned to human speech and show a preference for their mother's voice and the language they heard in utero. In the first few months, babies communicate primarily through cries, coos, and gurgles. They experiment with sounds and begin to recognize the basic sounds of their native language. Around 6 months, babies enter the babbling stage, where they start to produce consonant-vowel combinations. This marks a crucial milestone as they practice the sounds that will eventually become words. Babbling also helps babies learn the rhythm and intonation of their language. Between 9 and 12 months, babies start to understand words even before they can say them. They may respond to their name, follow simple instructions, and point to objects when asked. Their receptive language develops faster than their expressive language during this period. Around their first birthday, many babies utter their first words, often simple labels like mama, dada, or ball. These early words are usually accompanied by gestures and facial expressions to convey meaning. As their vocabulary expands, babies start to combine words into two-word phrases like more milk or want toy. In the following months and years, children's language skills explode. They learn new words rapidly, grasp grammar rules, and begin to form complex sentences. Their vocabulary grows exponentially, and they start to understand abstract concepts and engage in conversations. Several factors influence language development in babies. The most crucial is exposure to language through interactions with caregivers, reading books, singing songs, and talking to them. Children who are exposed to rich language environments tend to develop language skills faster and have larger vocabularies. Social interaction also plays a vital role. Babies learn language through back-and-forth communication with adults, imitating sounds, and responding to questions. This interaction provides them with feedback, and reinforces their learning. Genetics and individual differences contribute to language development. Some children may be naturally inclined to pick up languages quickly, while others may take longer. However, all children have the potential to learn language with proper support and exposure. Language development in babies is a remarkable process that unfolds through a combination of innate abilities, environmental influences, and social interactions. By providing a rich language environment and engaging in meaningful communication, caregivers can nurture their child's language skills and set them on a path toward lifelong learning and communication.